Well, hello, everyone. This is Jeanne White. I am the producer of this show today. I'm from Passionate World Talk Radio, and I am the station manager. But today we're having a series done by Holly Brown, and it's called Skin is In. Welcome, Holly.
Hi, Jeannie. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Thanks for having us again.
Okay.
So I'd like to introduce Jennifer Cullen. Jen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for asking me.
So we're doing the series Skin is In. So our main topic is talking about services offered by Looking and Feeling Fab. And so maybe you could start off, Jen, just by telling us a little bit about your story and when you were diagnosed and a little bit about how things started for you.
Sure. I got diagnosed in a weird way. Unfortunately, I went on my very first mammogram, and I was informed that there was an abnormality, but they didn't discover anything pertinent until 6 months later when my doctor said, let's just remove the abnormality that was testing as nothing. And when they did the pathology, it came back as the DCIS form of breast cancer. And that was my very first mammogram, and I was 41 years old.
Wow.
From there, I went to Dana-Farber, and I just had an amazing experience. I had 2 surgeries, and then they recommended radiation, and that's where sort of it fell apart for me. I did very well up until the radiation, and I really had a lot of redness and a lot of irritation, but was fine for 2 months after radiation. I actually had the skin problems, but I wasn't aware of your program until I did the Livestrong program in East Bridgewater, where you came and did a speech, and I wish I had met you before radiation. And then about a month after I met you, I was diagnosed with lymphedema caused by the radiation in my left breast.
Okay, so you see one of our practitioners for lymphedema, manual lymphatic drainage treatments. Maybe you can go in a little bit about what you experienced with the lymphedema and how the treatments help you.
So the lymphedema for me, it really causes a lot of skin itchiness, and it makes me really tired when I get a flare-up. So I did the initial program where I did a facial first and then did the lymphatic massages with Tina. And Tina and I were doing them in the beginning, every 3 weeks, because it was really helping me a lot. However, then I started getting longer and longer bouts of being okay, and so we went a little longer, and then I wasn't okay, and then so we found out once a month is definitely my sort of sweet spot. COVID-19 definitely put a wrench in that. I don't think I've seen her since February.
Okay, and how are you doing?
I'm good. I definitely am tired, though, and I definitely get much itchier now, and I cannot wait till you guys can reopen.
Yeah, yep. And so you found us by the Livestrong program.
Yeah.
So I usually go in and speak at the Livestrong programs. I've been doing that, which is a great way for us to reach and get our word out about the patients. And so maybe you can talk a little bit about, I know you said you did the facial at first and then you've been seeing Tina. So what type of impact, other than helping the underlying lymphedema, has it had any other impact on on you, such as, we like to kind of tell people that we're a support service and, we're a safe place where you can come and, if whether you have to vent or whatever, that this is a safe space where you are able to release. And we like to, it's a little bit more that goes into it than just offering the services. So maybe you can talk about if any of that happened with you.
Oh, goodness, yes, because I'm a social worker, and I don't know if you know that social workers are not very good at asking for help.
Yeah.
But we're not, and I'm a type A personality, so Tina is like my guardian angel because I can just walk in and she's like my ray of sunshine. She helps me just sort of vent a little bit before a session, and she also is really knowledgeable about skin stuff that I get a lot of breakouts in my lymphatic areas, and it's really uncomfortable. So she'll say, do this for that one, and so now I'm in a good spot with, like, knowing what to do when I see them, when I get these breakouts in random places. And so she is just, I don't know, I also, right before I got diagnosed with breast cancer, I decided to go back to school for grad school. So all throughout this, until this May, I was on and off in school. I had to take about 6 months off because the lymphedema was really like just wiping me out. But I just graduated from grad school in May, and so Tina would always be like, yeah, thank you. But Tina would be like, Jen, sometimes you might be tired because you take on too much. It might not just be the lymphedema. And she'll just bring me back to reality of that I do everything for my clients, and she's that for me, and I appreciate that.
Oh, good. Awesome. I love to hear that. And not that I ever had a doubt, because Tina is wonderful. And so were there when, when you found out whether, or when you were going through radiation and you hadn't heard of our program yet, were there any types of services that were offered to you through, or what type of advice did they give you to help the skin issues that you were having?
So I would bring in, like, I was doing research online, and I would bring stuff in because the radiation oncologist wanted to review anything that I would put on my skin, which was totally fine. But everything I brought in, they were like, no. I was only allowed to use bacitracin and what else? And put cold. They gave me these, like, I would put them in the freezer. They were pads that were, like, sticky, but then that hurt me when I would take them off. So then I would just lay them on me. And Jordan actually gave me like a freezer roller that I could put in my freezer, and then when I was having a flare-up, I could really use that. She gave me the oils that I was still really dark, but like my skin was dark in certain areas, and the oil she gave me when I first started with you guys helped clear that up. My skin tone is much more even now. And I still use the Hale and Hush gel cream is my favorite.
Yep.
For moisturizer, and that helps.
Yeah, just so people know that, we really try to tout using all natural, safe products. We, the last thing that you want to do is when somebody's either in active cancer treatment or completed treatment is offer them a product with ingredients that may cause cancer. I just shake my head. It drives me mental. And so we work and have a great relationship with the skincare companies that we use so that we know that they are of the utmost quality, and we're not, giving people anything that's going to interfere with their medications or interfere with actually having ingredients that may cause cancer. So the other thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about was, the programs that we offer. We often offer them at little to no cost, as we know that people who are undergoing treatment for cancer, it can become a real, a real problem with finances or whatnot. And so, how did that matter in your decision to take advantage of the programs, and how did that play a role in you to be able to continue?
Well, I don't know if you remember my Livestrong group, but we were really, really close. We still are really tight right now, and we see each other often. And I think we all, when we met you, were like, oh, my God, we could get a massage. Oh, my God, we could get a facial, and we could feel pampered. And it was just something that really brightened our day. And we still talk to each other, and we'll bump into each other if we go for a service. And I know that I think anyone who survives cancer goes through this. Well, I had it easier. I shouldn't feel like this. I shouldn't need this. And I was lucky enough to work throughout it, and I was lucky enough to have a lot of time. And my personality, I needed to work and be me at work. Not many people even knew. No, I think maybe a handful of people at work even knew I was going through any treatment. I just wanted to be me at work, and I didn't want that distraction, and it kind of really helped me be a sane person in addition to dealing with everything. But when we heard about it, I think we all were like, this is fantastic. And I just feel like it was a gift. And there's not many gifts that come with cancer other than I can say the gift was me going to Livestrong, and I made lifelong friends there that I would never I'm so happy that I have them. But I also think that was an extra gift because it's financially hard sometimes. You're balancing your mortgage, you're balancing things that are just normal, and then you add the medical bills. And even with great insurance, it just is a thought that you're worried about all the time. And this just was like my one hour to myself that I would never give myself if it wasn't for your program. Never, ever in a million years. I don't really like people touching me. So Tina's my new best friend. She's makes me super comfortable. Yeah, through the different interviews that we've done and stuff, we find that, most common amongst the patients that come on is that it made me feel a little normal. You're going from doctor's appointments and, medications and all that is like such at the forefront of your mind, and this just kind of gave you a little bit of normalcy. So we're happy to that we're able to provide that. And so a little bit more about the lymphedema, because I know that. So Tina is our lymphedema specialist, and did you have any swelling at all, or I get a lot of swelling, but I get it right in my breast area. It's very weird and very odd. Like my arms, where my lymph nodes were taken out, I have full mobility and no problem. So they really think I just got it from the radiation. Okay. Yeah, so just to describe a little bit, so when, we all have a lymphatic system, and the job of our lymphatic system is to remove toxins from our body. So it consists of lymph, which is the fluid that travels through the lymphatic vessels, and then it dumps into such like the pancreas or the bladder so that the body can rid itself of the toxins. And so what happens is sometimes when you have lymph nodes removed, or even if they're radiated, they become damaged. And so your lymphatic system, so to speak, gets stuck. And as it gets stuck, it causes different problems. So lymphedema is one of the most common known issues that results when somebody either has lymph nodes removed or they are radiated. And so manually, manipulating the lymph, we can get it to kind of jumpstart itself and start working. And that is the specialty that Tina is trained in. And so she does the manual lymphatic drainage, and it's just very light, precise type of massage. And we've seen wonderful results with it. So maybe you could just talk a little bit about after you have the treatment from Tina, how do you feel afterwards? So I actually feel really tired afterwards. And then the next day I don't feel really tired. But it's very interesting that it's like everything's moving again, and it like takes a lot out of me. But the next day I have more energy.
Isn't it amazing that the touch is so gentle that it has that effect on you?
And I know it's working too, because I will break out about a week after she gives me a massage in my armpit areas. It's very bizarre, but then I know something's moving, like stuff is moving around and getting where it needs to be.
Right. You can kind of feel everything opening up, like it's, it's a strange feeling that you get, but, it makes you feel better, but you're like, I don't know why it makes me feel better.
No, and I know it's so fun, but I also think, too, I wouldn't take the time to just take a nap afterwards, but after I have a lymphatic massage, I'll come home and I'll take a nap, and the next day I am just, like, way more energetic.
Oh, good. That's great. And so have you shared any thing about how the manual lymphatic drainage has helped you with your doctors, or, we do have a medical release that the doctors sign off on, just so that, we are completely transparent. We don't replace medical advice. We like them to be on board, but we like them to get educated as well that our services are available. So did you have any conversation with your doctors about doing the manual lymphatic drainage?
Absolutely, because at first when I started getting the lymphedema, they were like, well, I don't know, I just have to compression and live with it. And I was like, that's it? And so then I had the lymphatic massage, and I had emailed you, I believe, and saying, like, I think you had talked about the massages, and then I reached out to you about this, and you had said that this was starting. And I know I think I was fairly newer in that group of people, but I went to my follow-up, and I was like, they're like, it looks a little bit better. And I was like, well, I've been having lymphatic massages. And they were like, oh, really? Where? I'm like, well, you signed the releases like a year ago. And they totally, I think they're seeing so many patients in one day, and they only can remember so much in that moment.
And they're so focused on what they do best to beat the cancer that, yeah.
And so my radiation oncologist, this is the first year I don't need to see her again. And she was like amazed, but she was like, I think they had told me after the 2-year mark, I'm probably like kind of stuck with it for life. And now I'm at like 2.5 years, and I still have issues with it, but it's manageable now. I didn't know this would be manageable 2 years ago.
Right. Yep, and also, we do offer some free services, but then I think now you're in the Pay It Forward program, so that is when people can continue with the services, and they pay minimal fee, and then all that money goes back into funding treatments for other people. So afterwards, even though there is a small fee, you're still helping to continue the services in the beginning to be able to be offered free to other people. And so obviously anybody that can do that, it makes a difference. But I'm sure that it made you happier to be able to continue.
Well, yeah, and it still feels like a big gift, because who can say, like, it's still a great service that you're offering us, because I could never get that anywhere else, number one. And even if it was a massage or a facial, for such a small amount, you still feel like you're being pampered for like a gift. It's like, it feels like a gift every time I go.
Right. Awesome. And maybe you could just talk about a little bit about the products as well, and what your thoughts were on the products. And I know you said that you still continue to use the products, and how maybe those kind of made a difference with the way that you feel.
So I had already sort of done some research before I met you, and I had been for years using a different company, which I think you had used in the past, the beauty counter stuff, like way in the past. So yep. I was already kind of on the wave of making many changes. I didn't want to, when I met with Jordan, I didn't want to change because I always liked their charcoal soap, so I didn't change that. And she was like, that's actually perfect for my skin type. So then she would implement other stuff like I definitely have, especially, I feel like I didn't have eczema before I was diagnosed with cancer, but now I have eczema symptoms in many places. So the gel Hail and Hush is like great for me. It just works perfectly.
Oh,
it's like thick enough but thin enough that it absorbs really quickly, so you don't feel like you're just like I don't know, sticky all day.
Right. And that's the thing is we try to provide the education to people. So it's not like when you come to us, we go, oh, you have to use our products, but yet we'll take a look at your products and explain to you why they may be good or they may not. I know Beauty Counter is really clean products. The owner of Beauty Counter does a lot on Capitol Hill to try to change the laws and stuff. So we are familiar with them, and, you know, we can add things to complement if you're using something that, you know, isn't going to cause harm to you, and, you know, we can just add things to kind of go along with it. So, you know, we do teach you how to basically care for your skin the proper way. So, you know, and that is like avoiding a lot of the chemicals and, you know, certain ingredients that are better than other ingredients and whatnot. So we provide that also as part of the treatment. So what advice would you have for somebody who was newly diagnosed? I know that skin reactions are very prevalent with cancer diagnosis and cancer treatment, as well as lymphedema. And so, you know, would the services that we offer be something that you would tell, you know, somebody who's newly diagnosed to take advantage of, or how important of a role do you feel that it plays in somebody who might have just been diagnosed?
Oh, I feel like I'm your cheerleader. Anytime there's an Instagram post or anything, or I actually have a client who recently, she had been clear from breast cancer for 10 years, and on her 10-year checkup with her oncologist got diagnosed with 3 other forms of cancer. And I told her, you know, she's been through a lot, but I sent her a card with your card in it, and I was like, when you're ready, like, definitely look into this program. I think you'll really appreciate it. And I said, don't feel like anyone, like, just because I utilize it doesn't mean anyone's going to breach confidentiality or anything, so feel free to just utilize it if you think of it. Because I think that's the hard part with my job. I don't want them to feel like someone's going to tell me something. And most of my clients wouldn't, but I just wanted to make her very comfortable with that everything is very confidential and very on the, like, it's just an amazing place.
Yep. And so we do, you know, we follow the rules of HIPAA, but it is kind of funny with Tina, too, because, like, you know, I'll see a client and that maybe I had met in the beginning or whatever, and who is a client of Tina's, and, you know, she'll say something to me like, just something stupid like, oh, did Tina tell you I went to Hawaii or whatever? And I'm like, no, she tells me nothing.
Right.
Like, she literally tells me nothing. So,
but I think, like, I'm a social worker, so I get that, but I think some people just don't think how that works.
Right. And it's so funny, like, I'll call Tina and be like, oh, you didn't tell me that Susie went to Hawaii, and she's like, oh, yeah, she did. She had a good time. Like, and it's like, she's like, I'm not ever going to tell you anything. Like, she's funny, though. But that's good. That's how, like, it should be, that, you know, it should be a safe, confidential space. And like I said, we do try our best to fall under the rules of HIPAA, where we do have that medical kind of aspect to us. And so, yeah, it is somewhere that, and, you know, I think sometimes, too, that you bring up a good point that people feel when services are free, like, oh, I shouldn't take advantage of it. I should leave it for somebody else. But fortunately, we have enough to go around. So by all means, you know, we encourage people to take advantage of it and not, you know, feel bad about it. And so, you know, it's something that we are fortunate enough that we have great funders that, you know, donate money to us, and we have fundraisers and all that other stuff. And so we're very fortunate in our situation. We get a lot of donated products and donated space to us, so we're fortunate to be able to offer it. So what would you say to somebody who might say, oh, I don't want to do it because I feel like where it's free, I don't really qualify?
Oh, I feel like, first of all, your spaces that you have don't feel like they're free, in the sense that, like, I feel like I'm at a high-end luxury spa, so I want to make that clear. And I also feel like, listen, we everyone who's survived cancer has gotten a little bit of a raw deal in some respect. So why not feel good about something? And you guys have a really great way of making you, even if I don't feel good when I'm walking in, I feel great when I'm walking out. And that's
right.
key, I think. And who doesn't want to feel good when we're going through a really hard time?
Right. And again, there's the confidentiality that, you know, we don't have to tell people that you're coming. Nobody has to know. We did have one client that never told anybody she had cancer, and she would come to us, and by accident an email had gone to her, and she, like, called in a panic. I'm like, I swear, like, nobody knows that you've been coming here. Like, and so however people deal with things is fine. You know, we respect that. And you know, and yeah, the places that we are in are beautiful, and you know, we haven't been released by the governor to be able to start doing treatments yet. We're hoping that that's coming soon, but we do always practice the utmost in sanitation protection anyways. But, you know, we will be ready and willing to follow whatever rules that they do come out with in order to get help. We have been able to help some people remotely by sending them products and whatnot, but it'll be good to kind of get back into the groove. And I do have people calling me like, when can I come and see you? I'm like, I know, I'm sorry.
I think I text Tina every week. I'm like, any word? And Jordan Jordan did a delivery at my house recently. So Jordan's great. Every single person I've ever met from your organization is fantastic. So I can't complain ever.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have them. I really would be nothing without them. Like, I look like the rock star, but I'm really not there.
Everyone is. So everyone is. So that's
and Jordan is so cute. She was telling me she's with her daughter. She's like, I'm going around delivering products to everybody. I'm like, oh my God, you're so funny. So
when she came to my house, I'm like, I live on a busy street. Please be careful. I don't want you to get hurt. Like,
Yeah. So if anybody is experiencing different types of skin issues and we can't physically have you come in and touch you, we can either do a Zoom or we can assess the situation and at least get you some help, particularly if you're suffering from really bad radiation burns or something like that. Like, at least let us send you out some products that can bring you some relief right away. And we're happy to do that. So do you have any last thoughts?
No, I just really want you to make sure they know how wonderful they are, and that I would not be where I am today, I don't think, if it wasn't for your service. And I wouldn't have thought I ever needed it. I wouldn't have even dreamt that this is what would be helpful. And I just want you to make sure they know how appreciated they are.
Absolutely. I tell them all the time, and it's funny that you say that because during the coronavirus, I have been doing a lot of crafts. And so I'll make these little crafts, and then I'll put them in envelopes and ship one to each one of the girls. And they're like, they're probably like, why is she sending us stuff? But I'm like, I just love you guys so much. And, like, I just want you to know, even though, like, things are, like, nothing's going on right now, like, I so appreciate you and love you so much. And, like, I said, if you get sick of getting my I call them the Corona crafts. If you get sick of getting the Corona crafts, just tell me. But it's just something to let you know I'm thinking about you, and, you know, I appreciate you and stuff. So it's kind of a funny joke that we have between all of us. I'm sure they say, oh, geez, here comes another Corona craft.
Hey, at least it's not a bill. All of us like to get stuff in the mail. It's not a bill.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's funny. Well, thank you so much, Jen. You've added so much, and it has been a pleasure having you, and I really appreciate you coming on. Jeanne, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Jen. What were you going to say?
I just wanted, if you guys ever needed my help in a volunteer way with me being a social worker, I'm always happy to help, too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And hopefully we don't have to take you up on that in a clinical aspect, but, you know, maybe in a fun aspect.
Yeah, whatever you need, I'm always around.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Jen and Holly, for an excellent show again about the different products and situations that you help provide from Looking and Feeling Fab Holly. And if you want more information of how to contact Holly, I will have all that information in a blog for her. So I want to thank everyone for listening to this very important series that Holly is providing. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me. Or Holly, what is your email address, Holly?
Yep, it's holly@lookfeelfab.org.
Okay, thank you. All right, everyone, enjoy your day, and I'm sure the rest of the week will be good for you. In another 2 weeks, Holly will be back on again. Preferably this time, maybe we'll be on StreamYard. We'll see how that works. Again, everyone, thank you for listening to this important conversation. Jeanne White, producer of Skin is In at Passionate World Talk Radio. Everyone have a good night. Bye now.